I want you to steal this automation. This is a game changer if you have to create any content.
Steal this viral IG Reel Finder automation and discover exactly which Instagram Reels are making waves. No manual research is needed. Let's say you want to know what's working for big names like Alex Hermosi. With this automation, you can track his Reels, scrape the videos, transcripts, and engagement metrics, and easily see which videos are going viral. No more guessing what to create next. First, you input the names of the influencers you want to track, like Alex Hermosi, into the automation. It then scrapes their latest reels, extracts key data like video transcripts, engagement metrics, and even the video themselves. What makes this tool so powerful is how it pulls all the insights right at your fingertips. Want to know which reels got the most engagement or which videos might be perfect for recreating? This automation gives you all the answers, and it's super easy to set up. Here's how it works.
Essentially, all you have to do is tell it which influencer you want it to watch and scrape from. For example, if you like Alex Hermosi, I went through his entire page, had it copy all of the reels that he essentially posted. So then this way I can do my own analysis of what is looking good in terms of views to likes to comments, or like the engagement to views ratio. That's what I particularly use. And then more importantly, let's say I wanted to open up this reel because it seemed like it did a lot of traction. I open this up. I see what the reel is about. Choosing the right spouse is vital for long-term happiness. Yeah, I agree with that. I see the transcript that he used. Okay, see the number of views, etc. But more importantly, if I click this link right here, it's going to show me the video. And this is big because then I know exactly what I need to create.
What's the most important decision you're going to make in your life? What do you think it is?
Who you marry?
The spouse.
So let's hop into how to make this.
Step 1. Download both of the JSON files below from the link in the description. This is the blueprint that's going to automatically make the automation for you. Step 2. Import the JSON files into Make and configure it to run based on your preferences. Set up the names of the influencers that you're interested in, and it'll take care of the rest. I'll show you exactly how to configure it in a moment. Step 3. Analyze the data. You'll get a comprehensive report showing video engagement metrics, transcripts, and links to the original video. You can sort through the data to find the reels with the highest views, likes, and comments. Or if you're like me, I do an engagement to view ratio to understand which videos are actually performing the best on a comparative basis. This way, you know exactly which videos are resonating with audiences. And the best part, you can use this data to recreate top performing reels, jump on trends, optimize your own Instagram strategy, all without spending hours researching manually.
I'm going to walk you through the items that you're going to need in order to run this automation, starting out with Airtable. Now, you should set up a table that basically has the same columns as this. Have an influencer column. This is going to be the name of the influencer once the automation puts it in there. A URL column. This is going to be where you can click on it, essentially see the video. The explainer is going to tell you what the reel is about. This transcript column is going to be the original transcript that the influencer uses to create the video. The views, likes, and comments is just letting you know the number of views, likes, and comments. Pretty straightforward there. And then created time, which lets you know when the video was created. Make sure that created time is the set metric for that, because if it's not, that's going to cause a problem. And then also same for date. This is going to let you know when the video was actually posted. And for this, you can use as a single line of text. Now, majority of these are going to be single line text. The only thing that's not going to be a single line text is going to be the date that it was created. So after you have this Airtable set up, the second thing that you're going to need is an Appify account. Appify is essentially a bunch of ready-made scrapers that allows you to essentially scrape whatever you need to that's on the internet. Now, basically create a free account here. If you look at mine, I'm still using free usage. I get about $5 a month for this usage, and it's more than enough. After you have this created, the next thing that you're going to need is a Cloud Convert account. Now, this Cloud Convert account is basically, it receives the video, and once it receives the video, it creates the transcript for that video. Now, this is going to be something that you will need to put some money into. I put about like $10 into it. You could put $5 into it. I did this about a month ago, and I haven't had to put more money into it since then. So you set up these three things. After you have those three things set up, you'll be ready to go. Now let's step into make.com. Also, if you don't have make, you're going to need that as well. And I still use a demo. It is way more than enough. And I highly recommend it because you can start doing some phenomenal things once you have make. All right, so this is going to be part one. Now, if you look at the details section of this video, you're going to see two JSON files. One is going to say P1, the next is going to say P2. The way how you're going to import these JSON files, you come to this three dots at the bottom where it says more, click import blueprint, choose the file, select P1 for this case, and then you're going to import it in. This is going to pop up. Now, once this pops up, you want to click add, and this is going to walk you through a single sign-on process to essentially add your actual Apify connection. The actor that we're going to use is an Instagram scraper. This will automatically be inputted, so you don't even need to worry about that. The only things that we're going to change here in particular are going to be this Instagram URL. Now, this is going to be where the videos are coming from. So for example, let's say it's Alex Hormozy. We really like the videos that he does and we want to see what's really working for him. Come over to Instagram, copy his Instagram URL. We go back to part one. We paste that bad boy in there. And let's say you want to do this for multiple. If that's the case, you just put a comma behind this, do the quotations again, and Bob's your uncle. You go ahead and do that as well. But for right now, this is perfectly fine, and we don't really have to do any more than that. So Alex Hormozy, that is who we're going to be looking at. The next thing that we want to change is if we go down to only post newer than. Now this is going to be the date range of when the posts come back from. A key thing to note is that if you are using the free version of Make, it only allows automations to run for about 15 minutes continuously. So if you're using the free version, you can't go back too far because if you do, it's going to time out eventually and you're going to get about like a certain subsection of videos. If you use the paid version, you go up to about 45 minutes. This gives you about almost 120 reels from my experience. So the newer than, let's in this case say 2025, and we're going to say January 1st. Yep, that should be perfectly fine. And results limit is basically saying how many videos you're getting back. You don't have to worry about changing anything else here. This is perfectly fine. So you press save. And then before we run this, I'm going to show you part two, and then we're going to come back and we're going to run this thing. Part two, let's zoom out a little bit. Same thing here. You come to this button, click import blueprint. Once it imports, this is going to be the automation that's already set up for you. Now, what you're going to want to do is make sure you come into each of these automations. So this watch actor automation, this is essentially a webhook. So that last one is going to tell Apify to run the script. This is going to say, look out for the script that's running. And then once it's done, give us back that information. The only thing you need to do for these two modules is come in here, press add. When you're setting up this first actor that's watching that first actor run, when you click add, you set up your connection. Now you want to select the Instagram scraper. And that basically says, watch when that actor runs. And then we're going to grab that data. If you were using the TikTok scraper, you would just use TikTok. That's how you can replace these scrapers in and out of each other. And make sure that your Apify account is connected. Same thing that you did for part one. Same thing for here. Just press add, make sure it's connected. You won't have to change any of this information. It can remain the same. This cloud convert, once again, make sure you come in here, click add. You won't have to change anything else here. So don't worry about it. This get dataset items, click add. You don't have to worry about changing anything else. This array aggregator is essentially going to take all of the different rails that it got, and it's going to put it into array, which is essentially, you could say like a bundle of items. Don't want to make it too complicated for you because I want you to be up and running in no time. This tool is basically a text aggregator. So it is essentially taking all the different text from the different reels, is putting it all together so that it can essentially lay out the grid how we want it to in the Airtable file for us. This transcription part, once again, if you don't have OpenAI, if you don't have your OpenAI API yet, you will need to set this up. You can do that at platform.openai.com. I have a video titled How to Make Your First Automation where I walk you through exactly how to set this up, but that is going to be very important for you in order to do this. But once you have that set up, you just click add, it connects to your account. You don't have to change anything else. Okay. Then lastly, for this message and assistant part, you're going to, once again, click add. Now, this one is going to be a little bit different because you're going to need to set up an assistant in ChatGPT. All right. So if you go to platform.openai.com/assistant, you go to assistants, you're going to click create. When you click create, I have this script that is down in the details description. Just copy this, put it right into here. You can name it the same, whatever you want to name it. Doesn't really matter. Make sure you select the model as GPT-4o, and it's going to save by itself. You don't have to worry about anything else. Go back over to make.com, that part 2 automation that we were setting up. If you click refresh here, you're going to see the name of whatever you named your assistant show up here, assuming that you have your API connected correctly. If you don't, you're having some issues with it, just leave a comment down in the description and I'll get through those and try to help you out whenever I have some time to help you out. But it's pretty straightforward, and my video on how to set up your first automation really walks you through how to do the majority of this information. Now, you won't need to change anything else that's in here after you create that assistant because everything will already be set up for you. Okay, so you close that out. And then lastly, this Airtable module, this will be the important thing because after you update this Airtable, click add again, you select the sheet or whatever you name it. So whatever you want to name your sheet, that's going to be the base. And then the table is going to be the sheet that's the information is going into. You want to ensure this information, go ahead, maybe pause it here, take a screenshot, whatever it is being mapped to the correct columns. Don't worry about this information down here. It's perfectly fine, but you want to make sure this is being mapped to the correct columns. And this is where the information is going to be pasted into. All right. So that's pretty straightforward. If you have some issues, let me know and I will get to those as quickly as possible. But let's go ahead and actually work through this automation and see how everything is set up. If you see these breaks, you're probably wondering, what does break mean? And break essentially means if, let's say it timed out because the API took too long to call, or there was an issue that essentially messed up the automation. This break says, instead of canceling out the entire automation, which honestly, it sucks if you're running something like an email or a lead bot that's going through 100 different items and then it cancels out on number 50 and you have to start all over again. This says actually store that information in the system and then retry again after a certain amount of time. So I'll actually show you what the break does. But in order to run the automation with breaks, you're going to need to ensure that you have your scenario settings set up and say that allow storing of incomplete executions. You want to make sure this is checked as yes in order to run the automation with breaks included. This is important because if it does hit an error, it's not going to immediately stop the automation. It's going to try again after a few times, and then it's going to say, hey, this wasn't successful, where you can go in and actually troubleshoot, and you still have the information available. If we look at the breaks, let's quickly open up the break module so I can explain what that does. This just says automatically complete execution if this information fails for the number of attempts. So this saying, let's say it timed out, and how many times should it try again if it times out? I set it at 3 times. Usually if it fails 3 times, then you could probably want it to end. This just is really up to you. And then this is the number of minutes in between attempts. So if you set this at 1, it's going to be 1 minute. If you set it at 15, it's going to be 15 minutes. Usually 1 minute is enough time for the API call to come through. However, if you know, for example, you're being timed or your throttle is being limited, then you can set this to either 10, 15, whatever it might be. And make sure you definitely go down to scenario settings and turn this allow storing of incomplete executions to yes. Back to this one. We have Alex Hermosi. We're taking from his Instagram profile. We're saying newer than the 1st of January, and we're not changing anything else. We click run this automation. This error just came up because if you look at what we said post newer than, this needs to be 2 numbers. And that's the reason why it didn't match the actual parameter. So make sure this is 2 numbers, but we save this. And then now let's click run again. Boom, that is running. Okay, now let's make sure we save that just in case. Go over to this scenario. Now we have to click run here. And now that we clicked run, you're going to see that this is essentially waiting for that actor to finish scraping all the rails that were created since January 1st. And as soon as that is done scraping, you're going to see it kick it out to this next module that's going to say, get those data items. All right, so as you can see, the actor just finished. It said, get those data set items. Right now, we're converting our first file over to that transcript. All right, boom, we just got the data set items. We sent it over to ChatGPT. It is recording that transcript down right now. Now it is essentially sending it over to that assistant that we created earlier to summarize that data. And then now we just posted it into Airtable. And then this is going back to restart that process all over again from the transcript part. It doesn't need to start all the way over because we already ran the scraper. It already has that information. So now it's just going to keep looping back and forth until we get through all of the reels that were posted since January 1st. So this is going to run for a little bit. We're going to come back. We're going to see exactly how it looks. I just stopped the automation from running. As you can see, it went through about 30 times. Did it honestly pretty quickly. Over here you see is the log of what didn't happen. And honestly, if I didn't have those breaks in there, this would have caused an error and it would have stopped and it would have lost all the data. So that's the reason why you want to have the breaks in there. If we go over to the Airtable, like guys, look, we have all this information that tells us what the reel is about. So look, the core messaging highlights the irony of society, import and achieving dreams. It has the transcript of the same thing that Alex Hermosi used. Now you could honestly go through, see which reels you want to create, and then put this in another automation that says, hey, look at this transcript. And then from off of the transcript, create another transcript that I can use that has your personal unique touch on it. So this way you can have all of your content essentially scheduled out and already know what you're going to create and just go through the transcripts, make it a nice, efficient business. And that's the thing about automation. You're not recreating the wheel. You are essentially using it more efficiently.
If you're a content creator, marketer, or just looking to grow your social media presence, this automation is a game changer. It saves you time, gives you insights that you can act on immediately, and takes the guesswork out of content creation. So steal this viral IG Reel Founder automation today. Click the link in the description to download the JSON files and get started. If this video helped you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you never miss another time-saving tip. Think of the possibilities. You'll always know which videos are going viral and can jump on trends before everyone else. Let's automate smarter, guys, not harder.
This light showed me the way. Now I'm turbocharged every day.